bringing you insights and stories in a show crafted for MorningStar partners.
Going on from this thing, I want to talk about confidence.
Team Ministries with Tom Hardiman and Al Wood, a special edition created for MorningStar partners.
Hi, welcome back to our series on team ministry. I'm Tom Hardiman and I'm here with Al Wood. Both of us have an extensive athletic background. You probably know about Al's background. Not only was he an All-American at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, he was a professional basketball player for a number of years in the NBA, and that, however, is not the highlight of Al's life or my life. I was an Olympic athlete in '72 and played in the World Cups in '74 and in team handball, and our athletic experience has really been something that kind of drew us to the Lord. And so here we are, we're talking about team ministry and seeing the importance of all of that in terms of working with people and working with other individuals in the things of the Lord. And so Al and I are going to be talking about how to build, or characteristics that help you build a great team or a good team. And so some of the characteristics, Al, that we have talked about even prior to this time, there's things that you have highlighted in your own mind that made a successful team. So maybe you could list a couple of those and we'll expand on it as you talk.
This is very true. The first thing that you and I have discussed, we talked about, was trust.
Yeah.
I think trust is very, very important. There has to be a certain amount of trust amongst the team, especially the leader. Not just when I say the leader, obviously the main leader is going to be your coach, but every team have what I call a star player. Yeah. And the star player, he's the person that sort of set the tone for everything, set the tone for practice, he set the tone for the games and so forth. So that person is the one that you have to trust. And what I mean about trust is you have to believe that he's going to be where he's supposed to be, he's going to be on time, and the younger players are going to see that and they're going to realize it's very, very important that we follow his example. So you got to be able to trust that that person is going to do what they say they're going to do and do it on time like they say they're going to do it.
So one of the highlights in your athletic career was being coached by a man named Dean Smith. Talk about those characteristics that you just mentioned that he displayed somewhat on a regular basis.
Well, also for instance, when we would get to practice, on the board every day, there was a sheet that showed us what we were going to be doing that day. Like, for instance, if practice was at 2 o'clock, so from 2 o'clock to 2:10, we would do stretching and warm up. From 2:10 to 2:20, we would do name a drill, and he would do that drill. And from 2:20 to 2:30, we get a break for 2 minutes. So all that stuff was lined out. Now, in the process, if things were not going in practice the way Coach Smith wanted them to go, he didn't just stay on that drill all day. What he would do is he still followed the script. So if we were supposed to be out of there, practice at 4 o'clock, the whistle blew and we were done. Wow. I played with other coaches that they would go to 4:15 or 4:20 or 4:30 if they were upset or felt like we were not getting accomplished what he wanted to get accomplished, then he would continue. With Coach Smith, that was never the case. So we knew that we can go all out because at 4 o'clock, practice would be over with and we could move on.
So he was, Dean Smith, as well as other successful coaches that you've had, and you played for 5 Hall of Fame coaches, they were predictable.
Yes.
And you could have some level of rest knowing what was going to happen.
Knowing what was going to happen.
Now, Al, there's also, on the other side of this, there were probably players that you had, or coaches maybe, that did things that would undermine your trust in them. Can you recall anything that might have been an illustration of that?
I think when, as a player, you start building your foundation early on. So going all the way back to middle school, high school, and so forth, the things that the coaches allow you to do. But once you get to the next, what I call the next level, because there are different levels. Once you get to the next level, you discover that, well, everybody don't do things the way my previous coach do them. For instance, with Coach Smith, you couldn't get away with little things because he realized if you continue to allow cracks in the foundation, eventually the foundation is going to crumble and nothing is going to work. He had unbelievable success because, if I'm not mistaken, for like 25 years in a row in the ACC, he finished either first or second for 25 consecutive years. Yeah. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, you would think that somewhere along the way, either the other teams would get better or he would have just a little slippage, but he didn't. For 25 consecutive years, first or second in the ACC. That's incredible.
To learn more about MorningStar Partners, please visit mstarpartners.org.
One of the things that I believe is a quote from Bill Belichick, who now coaches football at UNC, and has a very successful professional career with the New England Patriots. One of the things that he used to say all the time is, do your job.
Exactly.
And when you're on a team, you're only playing one position, and you're relying on other individuals to do their job. Are there players that you learned to have a trust or rest in that were predictable in terms of them doing their job?
Oh yes, there were. I had the good fortune of playing with some incredible players. One of the guys who I played with was James Worthy, who was voted top 75 and top 50 NBA players of all time.
Wow.
Well, you could rely on him. For instance, yes, I knew what James was going to be at all times. When we ran a certain play, I knew what he was looking for. I knew where he wanted the ball, and I could get the ball to him because I could rely on him. So you've heard the terms, don't throw the ball where the person is, throw the ball to where he's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important, not where you are, but where you're going to be. So there are certain players, though, you really couldn't trust because they would, based on how they was feeling that day, was how they reacted. Well, that won't work because some days you don't feel good. Some days you don't feel like getting out the bed and praying for, 15, 20 minutes, okay? So what are you going to do? Well, look, you still got to be consistent. I think the Lord wants us to be consistent as well in what we do, in our relationships and everything we do, because if we are not consistent, then how can someone rely on us if we are not consistently doing what we say we're going to do?
One of the characteristics of a leader in the church is that they really do need to be predictable. They need to be what's called faithful. And if they have this responsibility, you don't have to think twice about whether they're going to show up to do their job and whether they're going to have the right attitude when they get there. And so this level of predictability or trust is a critical area for building components that make a successful team.
No doubt about it. And as we relate this to ministry, we want to continually move forward, and we want to go higher and higher. We want to get closer and closer to the Lord so we can hear his voice, we can understand his voice. And I think when we are consistently doing the things that would allow us to do that. So in basketball, for instance, you wonder why every time a basketball team go to the court, they do what we call simple layups.
Yeah.
It really is easy. And I've heard Rick say many, many times, let's go back to the basics. Back to the basics. So it's the little basic things that we do on an ongoing basis consistently that help build us up to the big picture of what we want to do. So if you're not faithful in the small things, if you can't do just the little things, then how can you expect to do the big things?
Yeah. In team sports, there's so many intricacies in making a successful team. And some of the best teams that I have played on do not always have the greatest of talents. They, however, work together with one another so that the outcome is even better than the abilities that they have individually.
In 1977, the Portland Trail Blazers had a guy by the name of Bill Walton. And I think it might have been Bill's second year in the league. And the Philadelphia 76ers had a guy by the name of Julius Erving. They also had, well, you being from Philly, you know all about it. I don't mean to bring up a sore subject here.
We started 2-0 in the series, and we never won another game.
You 2-0 in the series, and everybody to this day talk about the talent that Philadelphia had. Yeah. They had George McGinnis. They had, I think, Andrew Toney. They were loaded in terms of talent. But boy, the Portland Trail Blazers could play as a team. And the leader on that team was Bill Walton. And he knew about winning. He knew about team. He had won, I think, maybe 2 or 3 national championships at UCLA. He was just absolutely incredible, but he always put the team first, always. And as a result of that, you could see coming down the stretch, the team atmosphere and the team chemistry that the Portland Trail Blazers had, it won out over the talent that the Philadelphia 76ers had.
You know, one of the things that I noticed about that team, and way back when, is that Walton seemed to be able to sacrifice some of his own game so his other players could excel.
No doubt. Bill Walton was one of the greatest team basketball players in basketball history, not just college, but the NBA as well.
Yeah. Going on from this thing, I want to talk about confidence. And I know you have a saying concerning confidence in coaches. Can you share that with us?
Yes, I can. When it comes to a coach, very good coaches, some coaches are good, let's face it, some coaches are bad. A coach really cannot build your confidence. Yeah. That's up to you. All the work, all the time you put into your craft, it's going to give you confidence. But all at the same time, all the coach has to do is say the wrong thing to you or treat you a certain way, and he can take all that confidence away. So no, the coach can't really build your confidence, but he really can take it away. So you have to be really, really mindful, and you have to be a strong-minded person to be able to withstand that when the situation arises where the coach is saying or doing things that could really hurt what you're trying to accomplish.
There are certain preparations that I know, because we've talked about this off camera, that you did before the practice would start or after the practice would end that helped you build your own confidence. And so perhaps when we come back, we can expand more on that because it's a vital component that you bring with you so you can contribute to the overall success that the team is feeling like it's going to have. And so there's preparation that I believe is important in terms of you as an individual getting ready to contribute to the overall goal of the team and the winning attitude that a team needs to have. And so next time, one of the things that we're going to emphasize is this building of confidence and this characteristic that I believe God wants us all to display so that the overall attitude that we have coming into what we're assigned to do, we have a measure of confidence that God not only is going to show up, but we're going to be a contributor to the overall success of the team. Tune in next time, and we're going to have expand on this whole thought. So thank you for watching us.
To learn more about MorningStar Partners, please visit mstarpartners.org. Scan the QR code or text the word partner to 35 24 800 800.